Hello everyone, Vince Wilcox here, Wiley's Flies in Raybrook, New York, WILEY'SFlies.com. We're just going to tie a Marabare with you today, and we'll get started. We've got the size 14 U201 Umpqua hook, and I'm using a 70 UTC black thread on there. There's a 2.4 millimeter tungsten bead on that. Is a good size. It's a lucent tungsten and emerald green. Also like the Christmas red and the deep blue a lot. There's a lot of other colors you can look at. The grizzly marabou that we're using, I'm going to get one with really nice tips on it, nice and full like this one, as opposed to some of these you'll get in the package, and they're pretty much just ones that I discard. They're very sparse. They don't look right when you go to get them, something like that. The whole center's missing. Not something that's very usable. So we're going to take this, we're going to tie this in on the back here. I'm always careful when I'm using a curved caddis hook not to tie too far down the shank. Don't want to close our gape off at the rear. Want to make sure when you do set the hook you're able to keep your fish on. And we'll trim that off. Next thing we're going to do is use that midge diamond braid. Rust, one of my preferred colors. You can try some other ones on there too. I like the caddis green a lot. I like the chartreuse a lot. And we're just going to wind this up. We're going to leave a little bit of space behind the bead, really about a bead's width behind the bead, just to dub in our thorax and tie off our wing case material. What I like to do is try and save a step too by adding, basically I'm doing two steps in one. I'm going to put this lint bug dubbing onto there before I go to put my wing case on. That way as I'm tying my wing case in, I'm actually dubbing my thorax at the same time. And I will explain a little bit more about the lint bug dubbing, something I've been using a long time on the lint bugs, and of course now the Marabare. So we've tied our thin skin in while we also are dubbing that thorax. So you're kind of doing two steps in one. You pull that over. That tends to save a little bit of time. We'll snip that off. And that lint bug dubbing is just made from the center of a hare's mask. You can see this one I picked through pretty good. I like to use my razor scissors to trim it down in there. Most of the rest of the rabbit I can't really use, but I do take a lot off the ears as well. It's the darker, really nice little guard hairs that I'm after on there. And then I mix it with UV tan ice dub. I mix it with UV light olive ice dub, and I mix it with UV brown ice dub. So there's a little bit of all that in there. I'll basically take off all I can get out of the rabbit, and I'm using a pinch of all of the dubbings. You know, you get the UV dubbings like this UV tan. I'm putting in about this much, about that much of each of those three colors I listed. And that's really about it with the Marabare. I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to tie one right now without really explaining the things to you as much on what we're putting on there, since you have the recipe and we just did that one. The reason I'm going to do that, I'm just going to show you, it only takes about 1 minute and 10 seconds, maybe 1 minute and 20 seconds to actually tie this fly if you're not trying to explain things. So it's a quick fly. It's a great fly to fill boxes with. I've caught fish just about everywhere you can think of on these. And if you tie it on a heavier hook, a heavier style hook, it's actually a nice steelhead fly as well. So you can kind of adapt that if you're doing some steelhead fishing. You can use it for that. And you've got something really simple. It's actually very inexpensive to tie in the grand scheme of things. And you can load a box up with them fairly quickly. Tractor may fly by nature, but I think they'll take them for caddis. I think they'll take them for little stones. I certainly do well with them during an Isonychia hatch, so I think they like it for that as well. And that's pretty much it, just tying that fly without having to explain most of it. Thanks for watching. That's the Marabare. Have any questions? Get a hold of us at WILEY'SFlies.com. Thank you.